Going to start with our first speaker. Our first speaker today is going to be personal safety in our neighborhoods with Officer Tim Walia. And he's the senior lead officer at West Valley LAPD with 26 years at LAPD working various assignments. Has been a senior lead officer at the West Valley for 5 years, so prepare your questions and we'll have the question and answer after he has our speaker. So thank you, Officer Tim.
Good morning, everybody. So let me start by saying I'm going to go through a presentation. If you have a pen, write down your questions, but a little closer? Okay. I will answer everybody's questions before I leave. If you have a what's if question, maybe I think this could happen, I will answer everything for you before I walk out this door. Right, there's a couple of pieces of papers that were handed out that I'd like to go over. The first one is 911, Ask LAPD, and 311. Well, let me go over this because I get this a lot. What's a 911 call? If someone is breaking into your house and you're at home, that's a 911 call. If you see somebody trying to stab somebody or somebody walking with a gun, that's a 911 call. Does that make sense? Trespassing, loitering, people drinking in public, noise complaints, a suspicious person driving a car down your street that car doesn't belong there, that's a non-emergency call, right? 311. 311 are city services, animal control, illegal dumping. Someone dumped a couch on your street and you want it picked up. That's 311. Sanitation comes and picks it up. Pothole repair, the lights aren't working on your street, that's a 311 call. 311 even came up with an app. It's down here for smartphones. It's My LA 311. And all you do is you take a picture of it, you put it in the general description of where it is and what it is, and the city will come out there and fix it. With the app, you get like a little incident number. It's your reference number because the city has to come and fix it because you did that. And that's your little check on the city to make sure that they're doing their business. It's a great app, My LA 311 app. Okay, so I get a lot of calls saying, hey, I called a non-emergency number and I'm on hold for a half hour. Yes, that is a true statement. We're down 140 civilian 911 operators, right? So our defunding of our department had consequences not only for us officers, because we're down below 9,000 officers right now, but also the civilian side. You know, it's the stigma of working with the police. So the mayor, the chief, they're in the process of hiring. And then my part is, if you want to be a police officer or a dispatcher, we're hiring. Any one of your family members want to do it, we're hiring. Great job. I've been doing it for 26 years and I love it. 4 more years. 4 more years. All right, the second page, on the very back portion of the page, is all of the senior lead officers for West Valley and their areas that they're assigned to. It's on the back of the residential burglary prevention tips. And I'm on the bottom right, that's my area. So I have Encino, and my area covers the 101 to Mulholland, and then the 405 to Etiwanda. That's my area. And then the rest of the areas are all broken up with their senior lead officers, their phone numbers, and their emails. On the front of the page is residential burglary tips. I'll be going over this, but I also wanted to hand it out to you so you can have it in a written form. Matter of fact, that's where I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with alarms for your house. Okay. So I have my house set up in layers, and I always tell everyone to set up their house in layers. My first layer of defense, and then my friends, police officers have this too, and I tell everybody when I go out and talk, is a camera system. That camera system alerts me that somebody is stepping foot onto my property on the front, side, and rear yard of my house. right? That's my first layer of defense. My second layer of defense is having an alarm. I have my doors, my windows, my hallways covered, and then I have 2 sirens in my house. So if I miss you on my camera system and you break into my house, there's going to be loud sirens going off. My alarm company is going to notify me, my alarm goes off. I'm the first notification. If I don't answer the phone, my wife is the second notification. My third layer is I have cameras inside my house. A lot of people feel uncomfortable about putting cameras in your house, but I don't think you should. They have it figured out to where no one's going to break into your Wi-Fi to get in there and to watch you, right? All these new systems have an on and off. So when we're at home, it's completely off. Nobody's watching it. So when we leave, we arm it to turn on to watch the inside of our house. And it's just a layer of protection, you know, and it's going to be on you how comfortable you are for it. One thing we do with alarms, if you have an alarm and you don't have sirens, please call your alarm company, have them put in sirens. Why? Because we want your neighborhood to know, hey, something is going on at your house, right? We want them to come out and look. Hey, that's not a normal sound. That shouldn't be there. Please get sirens put into your house. Second thing with an alarm, please call your alarm company and find out what phone number they're going to call you with if an alarm goes off, and program that into your phone, right? Mine says alarm company, something's going on, so you can answer that phone so you don't ignore it. 2 things with an alarm. Okay. Wi-Fi security devices, right? So my cameras are Ring cameras. I'm not saying one's better than the other. There's Ring, Blink, Nest. They're all the same Wi-Fi security system. If you have a Wi-Fi security system, there's 2 things you need to do. One, you need to put a lock on your breaker box, because all the bad guys know exactly what these camera systems are, and they go right to your breaker box and they turn off the power, which defeats your camera system, your Wi-Fi security camera system. If you put a lock on the breaker boxes, they're not walking around with bolt cutters to cut open the bolt to do this. They're not doing it. The second part is, if you have a Wi-Fi security device, you need to get a battery backup for your Wi-Fi. They're about $120 and they last for about 12 hours. The reason behind it is, if you do lose power, you still have power coming into your Wi-Fi, and the battery backup allows that to work and allows your Wi-Fi security devices to work. All right. Glasses, okay. So this is what we know how the bad guys are breaking into house. It doesn't matter if your gates are locked or unlocked. If you have high fences, low fences, they're hopping the fences, going into the backyard, and they're breaking the large glass sliding windows, right, to make entry. So part of your alarm system we're asking is get glass sensors. And what a glass sensor is it picks up the noise of the glass breaking and then sets your alarm off. Also motion sensors inside your house, right? So if you don't have a glass break, hopefully if they break their windows and they step inside your house, the motion sensor catches them and sets off your alarm. But I have all 3. I have the alarm, the glass sensor, and the motion sensor. Great thing to look at. And if your alarm system isn't working, you guys spend a lot of money on your alarm system, call your alarm company, get it fixed. Please, get it fixed. All right, safes. Yes, we advocate for safes. Not those Costco and Office Depot 2 feet by 2 feet safes. Everyone knows what those are? No one's bolting them down. All the bad guys know that they're kept in the master bedroom closet. They're picking them up and walking away. Buy a safe and get it bolted down, right? Please buy a safe and get it bolted down. If that is your safe, bolt that safe down to the ground, if that's what you're going to use. Please. Okay, guns. Let's talk about guns. I am a police officer. I'm an advocate for guns, but I am also an advocate of you need to get trained if you're going to use it. right? Please get the training. There's plenty of places in the city of Los Angeles that will train you and get you up to speed with all the local laws of owning a gun. If you own a gun in this state of California and Los Angeles, it has to be secured in a safe, right? I've had burglaries here in Encino where people don't keep their guns in a safe and they were taken in burglaries. A top dresser drawer is not a legal place to keep a handgun. Underneath your mattress is not a legal place to keep your handgun. Please, please get a safe and keep it locked up. You can even get the little bedroom safes that go on top of the dressers that you bolt down to the dresser. It's not going nowhere. And it works off of a finger, and you can do you, your wife's, and an adult kid's finger on there. Biometrics. Works great. That's what I have. It works absolutely great. Okay, property check. I advocate for a 9 p.m. property check. At my house, at 9 p.m., I walk out and I make sure all the cars are locked. I make sure my garage door is down, and I make sure the side gate is locked to the entrance to the backyard. Yes, I catch some cars for my kids. They don't lock the cars. I also check to make sure there's nothing visible in the car, right? Because when we're asleep at night, these bad guys are walking up and down our streets with flashlights. All they're doing is looking inside a car to see what's visible that can be taken. They break a window, they take the property, and they're gone. So my men with briefcases, hiding it behind the passenger seat does not count. Guys, I don't know what it is with us. We come home from work, we put our briefcases behind the passenger seat, and we think we're hiding it. Please do not do it. Women, please do not put your purses behind there either. Okay, speaking of cars, if you go to Starbucks or go to a restaurant to pick up your online order, please do not leave your car running. Please do not do that. You laugh, it's funny, it's common sense, but I have this happen here at our Starbucks and our fast food restaurants, and people hop in the cars and drive away with it, right? Please turn it off. Please take your purses with you, because these people see you exit cars without your property, walk by your car and say, oh, there's a purse, there's a briefcase, and they think they've scored, break the window, take the purse, take a briefcase, and they're gone. Please take your property. All the stuff that's happening is opportunity for the bad guys. They're just walking, looking to see where we're slipping up and leaving the property unattended, and then they come and take it. Vacations. If you go on vacation, please talk to your neighbors. Hopefully right now you're still talking to your neighbors and having friends with them, right? Exchanging phone numbers so you guys can look out for each other. Packages. Encino, and my package staffs. Please, if you're not at home, don't have your packages delivered to your house. Please. I have my packages delivered to my mother-in-law. She's retired. She's always at home. She always gets my packages. If you don't have family or friends that you trust to get your packages, all the companies will deliver them to a mailbox company, right? They'll give you a code. You go there, you give them the code, you get your packages. Home Depot has them. 7-Eleven has them. Carl's Jr. has them. Mailbox, P.O. Box corner stores have them. All they are is lockers. The delivery companies put your packages in the locker. They send you a code. You punch in the code, the locker opens, and you have your package. It's nice and safe. Please share this with your friends and family. Please, if no one's home, have your packages delivered to one of the mailbox places. All right, follow home robberies. I get a lot of calls here about this. Follow home robberies. Everybody, before you get to your house, when you're driving, make a left, right, before you get to your house, and look to see what's behind you. In your rear view mirror, see who's behind you. If for some reason you feel this person is following you, don't go home. Drive past your house, go back out to the main thoroughfare, whichever road it is, and if that car is still there, dial 911. Dial 911 and say, hey, I need the police officers. I believe somebody's following me. Give them the best description of that vehicle, the person's in that car, and just keep driving. They'll stay on the phone with you. You'll get a helicopter. You'll get cop cars. They'll come there and make sure you're safe. Let's say you make your left and right, and you forget to look in your rearview mirror, and you pull into your driveway. What do? Just sit there. Keep your car running and sit there and look in your rearview mirror and side view mirrors to make sure no one's back there. If you see somebody getting out of a car trying to come up to your car, put that car in reverse and get out of there. Get out of there. If you hit that person, you know, you can explain it. You were in fear. And that person shouldn't be sneaking up on you in the first place. Does that make sense? Has everybody seen these videos that the news is putting out for these follow home robberies? So these guys will follow you home. They'll park a house before yours, or they'll park directly behind you, and 2 to 3 guys jump out of a car and they run to open your door, take a purse, take your watches, take your wallets, and then they hop back in their cars and they drive away, right? So you just have to be a little bit aware of your surroundings as you're coming home. All right, we talked about 911. What happens when you dial 911 from your cell phone? Okay, so in the state of California, if you're by a freeway, 911 calls get bounced to CHP. The CHP is the state police, and they're in charge of 911s from a cell phone. So especially out here, yes, you'll be bounced to CHP. And yes, even LAPD and CHP, there's a little bit of a hold for 911. If you're calling from 911 from a cell phone, just ask, hey, am I talking to CHP or am I talking to LAPD? And if you're talking to CHP, just let them know, hey, I'm in the city of LA. I need LAPD officers, and this is why. They'll get you transferred over to an LAPD dispatcher to get us dispatched to come out. Okay, how to get all this information that I'm talking to you about. All right, so LAPD's website is lapdonline.org. It's lapdonline.org. On the very bottom of the LAPD main page, there's a tab called Crime Mapping. Crime Mapping. You hit that tab, it opens up a map page. You put in your address, and it'll tell you all the crime that's happened around your house for the last 6 months. It's for the city of LA. It won't tell you Burbank, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills. It's only for city of LA, LAPD. I'll say it again. It's lapdonline.org. At the very bottom of the page, there's a tab called Crime Mapping. You hit that tab, there's a place to put in your address, and it'll show you all the crime that's happening around your area. Okay, LAPD West Valley Division has a Facebook page. If you're on social media, it's LAPD West Valley Division Facebook page. And we put up all the crime numbers and crime flyers and crime information about the crime and information that's happening in the West Valley area. Every LAPD division has the exact same thing too. So if you live here in West Valley and you work in Devonshire and you would like to know what's going on in Devonshire, you can go to LAPD West Valley Devonshire Division and be part of their Facebook page, and you'll know what crime information is going on there, and they'll keep you informed. All of them throughout the whole city, all of LAPD does the same stuff. Okay. Dogs. I didn't talk about dogs. Yes. People say, can I have a big dog? Am I going to be liable? So I have a German Shepherd and an Australian Shepherd. No one's going in my backyard with the German Shepherd, especially if the kids are in the backyard. God bless you. If you want a big dog, get a big dog. You know, more power to you. They're great at notifying you when somebody's around your property, right? My dogs are quiet unless you come up to the back gate or the side yard. They let me know if something is not going on that's right for them, and I go check. They're a great way of information. Even the little dogs, they'll bark. They'll let you know that, hey, someone's close to your property. I think dogs are outstanding. Okay, that concludes my information. I will answer anybody's question, what if questions, anything. I'll start in the front row and work my way back. Does that sound perfect?
What kind of burglar is most likely to get in to attack my house? Would it be somebody that's random, someone that is organized, like a Chilean gang? I mean, who's most likely to burglarize me?
There's no way I could answer that question, right? I'm sorry.
Okay.
A burglar is a burglar, right? They're just looking for something vulnerable to them, right? Let's say at nighttime, they're looking for the darkest house. Doesn't look like there's a lot of movements. You know, we advocate for having a lot of landscape and a lot of lights. I have a light on my front door, both sides of my garage, and then at nighttime, my side yard and backyard has all motion sensor lights. Right?
Do you leave the lights on all night?
Absolutely.
And the second thing is, in terms of cameras, what would be the advantage of having closed circuit TV as opposed to just Ring cameras, for example?
Good question. Okay. So Wi-Fi devices can go down if there's no power. If the Wi-Fi gets shut out, closed circuit TV, it doesn't happen, right? Especially if you have your own power source for it, it's always recording. So always recording could possibly go down with the Wi-Fis. And we do know that these bad guys, we just caught a bad guy burglar and he had a Wi-Fi jammer on him. So your Wi-Fi camera system still works. It's not like they're 2 blocks away and it turns off your Wi-Fi. They have to come or be in close proximity to your house for them to jam the Wi-Fi signal. So what it looks like is you have a picture of a person approaching, you'll see a device in a hand, and then the power to the Wi-Fi goes out, which should be a great pointer to you, hey, something bad's going on, let me call 911. Okay, I'm gonna go forward to back and we'll get them picked out.
Can a person make an anonymous report about a barking dog?
A barking dog. So LAPD doesn't do barking dogs, that goes to animal control. Animal control is in charge of barking dogs. Okay, so if you have a barking dog, you can just videotape it and send it to animal control. They'll want the address and where it's at. Animal control. So you're asking me a question I cannot answer from animal control. Hopefully they will. Hopefully they will.
About this map, can I ask, first of all, it seems to indicate only west of the 405. Is there something equivalent for east?
Okay, so LAPD, yes. For West Valley, we start at the 405 and go west to Corbin. So east of the 405 is Van Nuys Division.
Okay.
So you can go to LAPD Van Nuys Division, and this map exists on their community page.
Also, is there any appropriate time to call the officers, the senior lead officers? You've got phone numbers here. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason why you would call them rather than?
So if there's something like this, you're doing a community event and you would like one of us to come and attend your community event, that's the time you give us a call. If there's a question like, hey, I heard there was possibly a home invasion, you can call us and ask us. We'll tell you if there was or wasn't.
And this is something that just happened, and I really don't know what to do about it. I was in a different neighborhood, low on gasoline. I filled it up, charged it on my credit card. And that credit card, I used not my regular credit card, but just a sort of an oddball credit card that I keep for those purposes. And I received this notice from Citibank, that happens to be the issuer of that credit card, that said someone put through a charge from Japan for 1 penny. And we think it's a scam. Would you like to cancel the card and we'll reissue a new number? And of course, I immediately realized they were just that the card number had been captured. And since I only used it in that past month for that one gasoline station, I know where the reader was, or at least I presume I do. It's number one, it didn't even cost me a penny. They didn't charge it. And number two, it was minor inconvenience, and the card is coming to me. So is there, and you're understaffed, I appreciate that. So my wife and I talked about it, and I said, I honestly don't know what the proper thing to do is. I mean, I'm not a detective, I've just made a deduction, but who knows if that's right or wrong, and why should I bother people if they're gonna say, great, thank you for filing that report, and it just goes into the statistics, but no officers are available to do anything about it. So how do I figure out what to do about that?
So I would personally always file a report, because that was a crime against you, right? So that is fraud, right? So all of fraud reports, you can do that online at lapdonline.org. The bottom of the page, there's a tab that says file an online police report. And then you click on there, and that's going to be fraud identity theft. So someone's using your identity to purchase stuff. That 1 penny is them testing the credit card to see if it was going to work. So it worked, and they were probably going to charge up a lot more. But your credit card company caught it, notified you, and they canceled it. So good for you. Good for your credit card company.
Is that the same with phones, when they scam you on the phone and ask you for a credit card? Is that a police report?
So there's a fraud line where you can report frauds. If you didn't give them anything, it's nothing.
But is that the proper way to put it online?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is about phones. Recently, this past week, 2 phones were snatched out of the hands of people who were holding them and speaking on the phone. So the first thing is that you actually have to use Find My Phone, and you have to put a lock on the phone so that it's incapacitated completely and cannot be used. And this really happened to me. I was walking on Woodley, very slowly talking away on my phone. It was a quiet time. There were hardly any cars around. And when I went to the end of the road, and I turned around to walk back, and a van, if you call it a van or a pickup thing, came past me, saw me with the phone, went past me, stopped in the middle of the road ahead of me. Now, I'm a South African, so I understand all that stuff. I've been threatened like that there. So I didn't continue walking. I stopped. And so did they. They stayed there. And I didn't know what to do. Should I run to a house? Nobody's going to open a door for you when you knock on it. And should I run back to the corner and turn the corner and run somewhere else? I didn't know. So I pretended that I was dialing 911.
Good. You should have dialed 911.
Right.
Don't
and I
pretend.
did not move from where I was, and neither did they. Eventually, they started moving off slowly, hoping that I was going to walk. So I took a couple of steps, and they stopped again. So then I just stayed put, and eventually they slowly drove away. And now I do not walk with my phone, because I know that people are watching for that, and they will snatch a phone. Yes. But you can take those precautions as well. Find My Phone, And please lock my phone so that nobody can ever use it again.
Good. Good for you.
Okay? Thanks.
Okay.
Back to the,
I was going to ask, what do you think of the ring system? Is that a good system?
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Or the ring system, you know, how you have the ring on the door and on your phone? Is that a good system for you?
So I personally have the ring system. I think it's great. It's easy to set up. It's easy to use. I'm not advocating one for the other. It's just what I got and I set up. I think it's awesome. Ring, Nest, Blink, they're all the same. They're all the Wi-Fi security devices. They're all good. But all of them give you notification that somebody's on your property, and that's outstanding. My kids are adults. One lives with me at home, one's in college, and they still check it every time the ring goes off. So me, my wife, and my kids always check it. So if your kids are at home or you have family at home, set it up on everyone's phone and everyone should be checking it.
back to the gun question. Given that you're a gun advocate, understandable. What kind of gun are you talking about? We had an officer come out one day when we caught somebody looking in the back window.
You know, I know you're wearing a mask. I'm sorry, I did not understand that. I'm sorry.
Okay, gun question.
Okay.
Years ago, 78, we had officers come out. Somebody's been looking in our side window, and I happened to walk out there, yada, yada. So I said, well, what kind of a gun, if one wanted a gun, would be most effective? And he said then, probably a shotgun because it's harder to miss. Well, you're not going to put a shotgun in a safe unless you've got a big gun safe.
Yes.
So what, if one gets a weapon, what do you recommend, assuming it's been properly trained for, in a home?
That's a tough question for me to answer for you, right? Because everyone has a different feeling when they hold it, what's better for them. And all I can say is go out there and shoot them and get trained. And it'll give you the best feeling of what you want. Shotguns are great, but they are very big, right? To carry around. Handguns are easy to carry around with, in my personal feeling. So I can't advocate for one for the other. It's going to be a personal choice.
Okay, so if one has a gun in a safe, okay, my point is this: previously, you said it can't just be a little small safe that someone can walk away with.
So I'm talking about those little Office Depot safes.
Right, exactly.
So there's a bunch of handgun safes. If you guys haven't been to an actual safe store, go look up a safe store and walk in there and talk to them. They will set you up. There is gun safes for rifles that you bolt into a wall that will open up with biometrics from your finger, and that they'll open up this fast, and remote controls that you can hide all over your house. Same with your handgun safe. So mine is bolted to the top of a dresser, and then I bolted that dresser into the drywall. You're not taking that thing out without cutting out my wall.
Okay,
You can bolt everything in.
He'll ask the three-part questions. I've seen stats that say if you have a gun in a home, it's more likely it's going to be used accidentally otherwise against someone in a home than to be used to shooting somebody that's breaking into your house. Is that a correct statistic?
I don't know what stat you're looking at.
Yeah. It wasn't a side with some research that was supposedly done.
Yeah, I can't answer. I don't know what stat that is.
Okay, thank you very much.
My final answer to that question: if you're gonna own a gun and want to use it for personal safety, please go get trained. And if you're gonna pull it out for somebody, make sure you know how to use it. You don't want that gun being taken away from you and used on yourself. All right, hopefully that ends that conversation.
Okay, years ago, the NYPD, where I came from, recommended leaving some cash on your dresser, visible. Try to deter vandalism. Let them grab it and get out of your house. Do you think that worked?
I mean, like, just they let them get some extra stuff to get out?
Yeah, get out.
I mean, there's a lot of people that put stuff like fake jewelry around and stuff like that, but buy a safe, bolt it down, they're not taking it. You know, they'll be there for hours trying to unbolt that safe. You know, all these safes get bolted to your floor. Yeah, they don't bring cement cutters, pry bars to pry it off, and they're not going to be in for hours in your house. That's exactly what we're seeing. That's a true statement.
Everything's torn up for no reason.
That's a true statement. They break in. They're not bringing huge security bags with them. They're using your stuff against you. They'll take the pillowcases off your pillows. They'll stuff whatever they can find in the master bedroom closets, top dresser drawers, and they're in and out.
You referred to fraud line. How do you contact that?
The
Fraud line.
The fraud line. I will start looking it up. If everyone's got a phone, you can put in fraud information. There's a website out there. I'll keep I'll look it up. If people want to ask me some other questions, I'll find it for you before I leave, Joe.
I have a question.
Yes.
Try to talk. So we were burglarized in March, and it's exactly as Officer Walia said. They came in the backyard, they broke in through the bedroom glass window, and within minutes, they took the pillowcases off the pillows and just went through the bedroom. And unfortunately, my wife had jewelry in a jewelry drawer, blah, blah, blah. They went through the closets, they took purses, and they were out within 7-8 minutes.
Sorry,
and
that happens.
I actually came home. I think I came home while they were still there, and may have scared them away. But you know, our security system, our cleaning lady was there on Tuesday. She forgot to turn the alarm on when she left, and but I still got, you know, camera view, motion, etc. I could tell, I could see a flashlight, you know, in the room, and and they cut the cord for the cameras outside. They weren't Wi-Fi. They were
The actual hardwired.
hardwired. They cut that, so I lost, you know, sight of what was going on. LAPD came out. It took about an hour to get to the house in pouring rain. And the question I have is, what's the likelihood that they ever find these people? Oh, and that same night, there were 2 other homes within a half mile of our house that were also robbed. And that seems to be a pattern in our neighborhood. They come in, they get multiple homes each night. Can you comment? I mean, I have no faith that they're ever going to find this or recover any property, etc.
So let me start with this. Did our scientific investigation unit come out and do fingerprints for you? Okay. And then was there any evidence on the cameras, like pictures of them and stuff like that?
No. I got flashlight. I got, you know, timing of when they came in, the window, the break, and all that, but no pictures of them because the cord was cut after that.
So hopefully we got some DNA and some fingerprints. And yes, it takes a little bit to get back to fingerprints. This isn't CSI where it comes back in 20 minutes, right? It takes a little bit to get fingerprints. But if they got good fingerprints, it's going to be a good lead, and hopefully they'll catch them. But fingerprints only work if the bad guy's been arrested before and we have the fingerprints on file. So hopefully they got some good fingerprints from your place, and they'll be able to do some follow-ups and catch that person.
Yeah, no, they didn't get any good fingerprints. And can you comment about, it seems like they're gangs that are coming in neighborhoods, that are coming.
Yes, yeah, Chileans, there's gang members, both from downtown LA, Palmdale, Bakersfield. This isn't just a local area. It's not just here, and it's everywhere, unfortunately. It's everywhere. And our burglary detectives and our burglary investigators are trying their hardest to catch these people. Just know that.
I have a question from someone on chat. The question is, how does one know that a safe company is legitimate and that their personnel will not come to your home at a later date to open the safe?
Good question. There's no way I could answer it. The only way I could answer that is do your research. Most of the safe companies out there are legitimate safe companies.
So, is it me?
I have a question. Given anti-Semitism and things that are going on, what actions are the police taking now to try to be, as far as the safety of our community?
Okay. What are the police?
What are the police? Are there increased activities, and what activities are the police doing to increase the safety of our community, Jewish community?
So, as you know, we do a lot of extra patrol for the synagogues, especially now that what's going on. Every Jewish synagogue has an address. That address is given out to the officers on patrol that they drive by and do a check of the facilities. So I'm going to say that we're not only doing it here, but we're doing them at the Muslim temples too, at the mosque. As you know, there's 2 out here, and then we're doing it everywhere to make sure everybody is safe. Does that answer your question?
I've got a question.
Okay.
Given the concern about your neighborhoods and seeing this pattern, how is your neighborhood watch program in this area, and could it be better?
So Neighborhood Watch is doing well. So me and my partner, Officer, you guys probably know his name, Daryl Scoggins. He's been out here for a long time. He is my partner. He has the Tarzana side. So we do our meetings once a quarter, second Tuesday of the month by Zoom. And that information's on our webpage too. Like I gave you the LAPD West Valley Division page. And it's going well. We got a lot of good citizens out there that like to take this information and share it with their neighbors. I hope that answers it.
Why isn't it possible to set up compulsory shooting classes when you buy a firearm? I know of a child who was killed because a firearm was left against the wall. Because firearms fall down and they go off, all kinds of things happen. Why can't they set up a thing that when you purchase a firearm, it's compulsory that you take lessons?
So you have to in California now, right?
You do have that?
You have to pass a test for the rules, and they tell you to take a firearm safety class.
And you have to do that, though. I mean, you have to prove it that you've done that.
You have to pass the test.
Oh, you have to pass the test.
You have to pass the test.
And then another thing that I want to ask you after what Joel said is, if the maid left the alarm off accidentally that day, and only that day he had a burglary immediately, that to me would already raise a red flag, because in South Africa you have setups where, they leave the alarm off or something, and everybody knows they don't have to what we call case the joints. They actually know where to go, because they've been told, you'll get this and this and this, there's jewelry in a drawer, whatever, and leave the alarm off. So do they investigate that? Do they go backwards and say?
They will, yes.
Yeah.
But that would take a lot of people in the alarm company to be part of a conspiracy. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but there'd be a bunch of people involved in it.
Right. And also talk about how a dog, if you have a sensor in the house, how do you deal with the dog if the dog is running around?
Okay, so that's a good question, and a lot of people don't know this. So the alarm company sets up your sensors for the weight of your dog. All right. So if you have a dog that's under 50 pounds, they will set up a sensor that won't alert unless it picks up a human body over 50 pounds, right? So all of the sensors inside the house, motion sensors, work off of infrared, right? So that infrared picks up your dog's weight under 50 pounds. If you have a dog weight over 50 pounds, you're going to have to talk about it, right? So they can do 75 pounds and under, but I think that's going to be your max weight for your dog. Anything over than that, it's going to allow a human body to come in being undetected.
Okay, what Joel just said about his house might have blown this thing out of the water, but it used to be that they said they're really looking for the easiest places they can get into. But his was alarmed, they obviously knew it, so does that no longer hold?
It doesn't matter if it's alarmed, got cameras or not, they're just breaking in, taking what they can and leave. That's why I say it's good to have layers of protection in your house. My camera system lets me know somebody's coming up, approaching my property. I get notification. I have an alarm with sirens. If my windows get broken, something comes into my house, my alarm goes off with the sirens. And then I have cameras inside that also notify me that somebody's inside my property, in my house.
Okay, just a tip for some people. Our next door, our neighbor across the street learned the hard way. There was somebody that broke into their house, and he knew exactly where he wanted to go, went to where the wife kept her jewelry.
So everyone always says that, but everyone keeps it in the same spots, right?
Well,
the top
yes and
drawer,
no.
bathroom, master bedroom. It's always in the same spot. I'm not being bad when I say this. We all do it. My wife does it. My daughter does it at her place. It's always done. There's nothing secretive. They're not going directly in there. They don't have advance notice of, hey, this guy's keeping his stuff.
Well, yes and no, and this is my point here. So if you have workers in your home doing things, or somebody's coming to deliver things, we have a Burbank officer, airport officer right on a block, and he said basically, you need to be with them when they're in there. Because if you leave them alone in a room, they're going to start looking for things. And then even if they don't get it in, they know right where to come back to. This guy was in and out with the alarm blaring in under 5 minutes.
I am not the plumber. I can't figure that stuff out to save my life. I call a plumbing company. I stand right there with them. I put all my stuff away. I say, sorry, I'm going to look over your shoulder. This is my house. You know what? I called you out here. Do the work. I'm going to stand here and watch you. You know, absolutely, you should stand there and watch them and put all your stuff away.
I want to repeat something, or I'd like you to repeat something you said before. Did you recommend to close all the gates to the back?
Absolutely.
Right now we're
absolutely
we're
all my gates are locked. Every single one of them are locked. I don't do my own lawns. I got a key that says do not duplicate, and I gave it to my gardener. He knows that I am very strict. I don't have a bunch of people in my backyard. My dogs get along with him. They don't attack him. I tell them, don't bring any of your friends back here to do the lawn. And if you do, please tell me, right? And then my cameras double check my backyard and my front yard when he's there. So I know who's stepping on my property. Absolutely, lock your properties, lock your gates. Don't make it easy for anybody to come on your property. All right, for the fraud service. If you put in telephone scams in California, you get a fraud. It's the Fraud Scam Alert, California Department of Consumer Affairs. They will take all the scams that you get on the phone. California Department of Consumer Affairs, Fraud Scam Alert.
Questions?
So speaking about scams, sometimes I get calls, for people soliciting money. And I wondered whether, and sometimes they say they're from the police or on behalf of the police department or police officers. So I'm wondering if...
But we don't do it at all.
I figured, okay.
We don't do that.
Right. Well, any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. Oh, we got one more. Too late. One more.
We have a lot of construction in our area, and last couple of months they have been sleeping in the car from about 4 to 7 when they start, with their feet out the window. So you wake up in the morning. We've also had water running down the street, so you can't get across the water for 2 or 3 days at a time. But I called 311, and that was alleviated very quickly when that happened.
Good.
So, but
Great success story.
yeah. And they also throw their papers, their meal papers everywhere. They threw it over my gate, so it'd be on the other side and I wouldn't see it, or it's in the middle of the street. I just wonder, I didn't call 311, I was just the garbage man. But
That sucks that's happening. Hopefully you can go next door and talk to the foreman and let them know that's happening and say, can you please talk to your construction workers to tell them to knock it off?
I talked to the owners, who is the superintendent, and he says he tells them, but.
I'm sorry, sounds just like some bad construction people there.
All right, any more? We'll let Officer get to do what he needs to do, right?
You know what? I will be in the back. If anybody personally wants to come up and ask me a question, I'll be back there. Please come up and ask me, and then I'll be there for a little bit. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break till about 15 minutes till our next speaker comes, Rabbi Hoffman. All right, let's take a break.